Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and before we get started, let's get the shout out of the way. Today's shout out goes to Tech. Tech was the first to say first in one of my recent videos, and thus wins this shout out. So what do I have for you today? This is something neat. This is the new Hubsan H123D jet. It is an upgrade to their previous H122D Storm. What is the upgrade? Well, this one comes with brushless motors. It's a little brushless motor micro quadcopter with 5.8 gigahertz FPV. It comes with a controller with an FPV screen. If you want to fly FPV, you can. One other thing about it is it's advertised with acro. Now there's an issue there, and I'm going to discuss that shortly about the acro when I go over the controller here. But let's go over the quadcopter first off and see what we got here. Let's start with the camera. It is a 720p HD camera. It's actually kind of a nice camera. You know, produces nice imagery. It records video. It does have a recorder, and it has a micro SD card slot right here. And there's my micro SD card for recording video directly to this. Thus, you get good video without with minimal lag on the frame dropping on the video that is recorded. Now, in the previous model H122D, if you were recording, you got a lot of lag in the FPV video from this drone. This seems to have corrected that problem. I see, you know, when I'm recording with this, I'm not seeing the type of lag that I was seeing with the H122D. So they seem to have overcome that problem here. And again, as mentioned, this does have 5.8 gigahertz FPV transmission to your controller here. You can also fly with goggles. I'll discuss that shortly also, so hold on for that discussion. But again, the FPV transmitter is right under here. I think it's 25 milliwatts. You really can't tell. There's not much information provided by Hubsan on, say, as these motors and the ESCs on the transmitter. You know, it's not in the specifications. They can't kind of keep that hush-hush. So we'll not talk about that. But it comes with a LIHV battery, high voltage battery. Wait a minute, I got a spare one in my pocket. Show you what I'm talking about here. But what I'm saying LIHV is its nominal voltage is 7.6 volts and its full voltage is 8.6 volts as compared to 7.4 and 8.4 on a LiPo battery. So you get a little extra oomph out of this type of battery that Hubsan provides here. It's 980 milliampere hour. So that is the battery, and the frame of this seems to be carbon fiber, good, you know, strong carbon fiber. So this should be fairly well crash resistant. And this front lens can be tilted up or down for FPV flight. So that's the little drone. Let's go over the controller, and while I'm going over the controller, I want to discuss something. But first, let's start with this. The switch on the left here is for dual rates. You know, high rate. This is low rate, beginner's rate, and if you bring it down, that enters into high rate. You have AV output ports here. If you want to plug in the output from the screen, you can to a recorder. You can start and stop photos by pressing this button here, or take a photo by pressing this button here on that 720p HD camera. It's just going to be a screenshot, so I don't know the worth of taking a photo. You can do the same with the video from the drone, recorded video, and take a screenshot to get the same type of imagery. But with that in mind, you can start and stop the video camera by pressing and holding this button here. And we have throttle on the left. If you notice, the throttle on this controller comes all the way down. So there is no altitude hold. This is a sport flyer, folks. Meant to be a sport flyer. And this is your pitch and roll, and your trim buttons for throttle, for yaw, for pitch, and for roll. Now let's go over this switch here. This is the biggie. In up position, it is in stabilized mode, angle, also known as angle mode. What that means is this drone, if you give it some pitch or some roll, it'll do that. But if you let go of the stick, it will stop the pitch or roll and center itself, in effect. Now, these other switches here are labeled Sport 1 and Sport Mode 2. Some people have been thinking that this is acro, especially the Sport Mode 2. They are not acro, okay? I tried flying these in acro with goggles. It was a disaster, to tell you the truth, folks. But what they are is a form of horizon mode. Okay, you put it into one of these here. You can flip the drone upside down if you wish, but it also has self-stabilization. So when you let go of the pitch roll stick and you're not too hard over, say like so, the drone will automatically stabilize itself again. Okay, these positions here are not for 2 and 3 are not for flying FPV, folks. If you try to fly FPV with these, you will run into problems, as I did, with lots of crashes. And the reason being, the way that these modes are set up is it's very loose control. It's not proportional at all. You give it a little input and you don't see much input until you get like 2/3 of the way over, and then all of a sudden the input kicks it right in real fast to flip upside down, if that's what you were intending to do. And the idea being, these modes are for flipping, in effect. If you want to do manual flips, put it into these modes and then just kick it over and it will kick over. And if you let go of the stick, or try to center it first, and once you get close to center, if you let go of the stick, it should automatically hover. But we'll find out if that's true or not when I try to fly. But again, I tried to fly these in acro, thinking that it was acro with goggles, and I was just crashing right and left because of that. You know, I'd be trying to give it gradual input, and then all of a sudden it would kick over to do its roll or flip, and I just wasn't prepared for that. So it's very difficult to fly this in 3D acro. If you want to fly FPV with goggles, I strongly recommend you stay in stabilized mode. Okay, these are not acro again. They're not suitable for training to learn to fly acro, if that was your intent. Okay, they're not. So, okay, let's go for a flight of this thing and see how it performs. Let's start it up. Moving my cheat sheet over there. I forgot to mention this also has a beeper, so in case you lose sight of it, you should be able to find it. But turning on the controller and plugging in the drone, and we should have power on the drone. Here are the ESCs kicking in, and we have signal, FPV signal on our screen. I don't know if you can see that or not, folks. Let me make sure that I am recording, and then we'll proceed. Okay, again, we have FPV signal. I am going to start off in angle mode, and also I'm going to start recording so you can see the camera. Double checking the camera on my hat, that it's centered. It is. And starting the video recording by a press of the button there, and it says record. We should be good to go. So let's kick it up in the air and see what it does. Oh, starting the motors. Start the motors by down and out, folks. Stop them by down and out also. So down and out to start the motors. Let's take to the air. Okay, let's punch it. Wow. This little machine has tons of punch. Okay, it is meant as a sport flyer. Let's bring it in close again. Around. I'm in low rate right now. Low rate right now, but wow. Okay, let's hover it there. Give it a little throttle. High rate. With high rate, the yaw becomes much more pronounced. Still got a lot of oomph. Screamer. A real screamer it is. It's actually a very sporty quadcopter. One of the most sportiest little toy drones. Oh, going in the sun. Come back down here. Sporty toy drones that I've seen to date. So, fun little flyer. Fast little flyer. I mean, fast. Those brushless motors are pretty darn cool on this one. Okay, let's take it up, show the camera. While we're still in stabilized mode, going up. I'm going to turn it around, going toward the sun, showing the sun. Here's our new high school, or junior high, and then coming back down again. That's the camera. Okay, that was the camera. Let's plop it down for a second. Down and out, stops the motors. And stopping, was it recording? I'm not sure if it recorded or not. Okay, stop. Recording has stopped. Okay, this time we'll go up. I'm going back to beginner's mode. And this time we'll try sport mode 1. So starting the motors. Taken to the air. And going to sport mode 1. Okay, give it a little right pitch. See how it gradually stabilizes itself? I'm giving it a little more right pitch. And then it stabilizes itself. So, let's set it up higher. Okay, I'm trying to flip it over, but it will not flip over in sport mode 2, okay? There is a maximum angle restriction. It's just that the stabilization is a lot less, see? A lot less active in sport mode 2. But there still is angle restriction. I can't flip it over. I just tried that and it wouldn't flip over. So with that in mind, let's go up and try sport mode 3. Okay, does it still stabilize? Okay, it still stabilizes. See, I'm letting go of the stick and it stabilizes. But in sport mode 3, it is actually horizon mode. Okay. But it's very, very slow reaction because I'm not in dual rate. Okay, let's stick it to dual rate. Hold on. Higher rate. There we go. You have to be in high rate if you want to do flips with this. But again, it's stabilized. It's still stabilized. It's still stabilized, but it's a gradual stabilization there, and I lost orientation there for a second. So let me go over and get it. Plopped it down in the grass. It should be fine. Going back to angle mode. So let's go over what we've learned so far. Position 1 is angle. Okay, very stabilized, highly stabilized in position 1, even at dual rates. Motors are still running. Turn them off there. Position 2 is still stabilized, still has angle restrictions. It's just that the stabilization is more sloppy. Okay, it's not as strong as in position 1. And in position 3, it turns off the angle restrictions. You can go upside down to do flips, but there's still stabilization. And again, I had problems with that yesterday, or last week actually is when I flew it, in that the settings of the stick are not smooth. Okay, they're not proportional, and I was crashing right and left. I think others have been having the same problem with this, thinking that the acro is truly acro, and it is not. You know, it's horizon mode in effect in position 3. So let's go back into the air in high rate in position 3. Let's start the video too. And starting the motors. One back to the air. And but there we go. So there's a flip and another flip. And each time you do these flips, they become a little bit easier to do. So that's, again, position 3 is more or less meant for those who want to manually flip the drone. That's about it. Now, angle mode. Sport flying in angle mode. This is a great little drone. I mean, tons of power, amazing power from those tri-blades. And, I mean, it's got punch. So it is a great quadcopter. It's just that it's not what people were thinking this is going to be an acro trainer. It is not. It's not a trainer for flying acro mode. I'm still in high rate, ain't I? Yeah, okay. Just double checking. So not an acro trainer, but a good sport flyer, sport drone. So with the remainder of the battery, let's just play around and try that sport mode out. Amazing little thing. Little buzzard. Tons of punch. Just amazing punch. I'm waiting for the beeper to go off on this. I'm trying not to hurt myself too, because this thing accelerates so fast that I don't want to get hit. Nice little thing. So, if you're looking for a small sport flyer with tons of punch, this might be for you. But if you're looking for an FPV trainer, not so much. Let's try that. We're in angle mode. Let's try to fly FPV with this. Looking at the screen, pushing forward. See if I can come between the trees. Fly between those. Big gap in the trees because I'm not wearing goggles. So, yeah, you can do it if you want to. You can fly this with goggles too, keep in mind. But again, if you're going to fly FPV with this, you want to be in angle mode, okay? Not an acro trainer. Again, the Sport Mode 3 is for flipping the drone. We still in high rate? Let's try that again. Okay, there's our beeper. We have a warning. That's our low battery warning. Time to land it. Got some good flight time out of this. And stop the motors like so. And stopping the video. Video stop. So my thoughts overall on this. Yeah, cool little drone. Especially, you know, if you want to do sport flying. It's an excellent little drone. You can, in that Sport Mode 3, you can flip it upside down and do manual flips. It still has stabilization. Again, that Sport Mode 3 is horizon mode. There is no true acro on this. Sport Mode 2, again, is stabilized. It's just that I really don't know why you would want to fly Sport Mode 2. It's just sloppier flying. And angle mode, very, very good to fly this in angle mode, especially for sport flying in high rate. And finally, tons of punch from these tri-blade props along with these brushless motors. So, hope you enjoyed this flight of the Hubsan H123D jet. It certainly is a jet. It has lots of acceleration. This is Quadcopter 101, signing out. Okay, I got a second battery. I'm just going to do some sport flying, fun flying for me. But if this comes out cool, I'll include it with the video too. So, no commentary, just flying, just playing around. If you can't figure out, folks, I'm having a blast with this thing. Especially its acceleration. It's just astounding. You're getting that type of acceleration on a 7.4 volt battery. A little toy battery, actually. 900 milliamp hour, 7.4 volt. I would have never imagined that a 2S battery, especially that size, could provide that much oomph to a racer. Fun little thing. Fun little buzzard. Lots of punch. bring it up close so you can see it. You haven't seen it up close. I've been keeping it a little far away. But that's it up close. How do you like my shirt today, folks? If I haven't said that already. I haven't. Screamer. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call this. The Screamer. Yeah, sure, a little banshee. Yeah, someday somebody will come up with a true acro trainer. This isn't again for acro, it's for playing. Just for playing. It's a sport drone. A brushed sport drone. With its FPV capability, because everybody wants FPV capability. But not an acro flyer at all. Wow. Wonderful little drone with amazing acceleration. Let's do that again. That wind was hit me, that's why I ducked. Okay, we're going to call it quits here because the fire engines are coming somewhere. There's a fire somewhere. So we'll call it quits. You saw what the flight time was before, but this is I just wanted to burn out of this extra battery the power that I put into it. So, cool. Cool little sport drone. I like it. The Hubsan H123D. Sport drone, not FPV flyer. Okay, signing out.